Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these stories. First, Rivers State. PDP Ward ESCOs suspend House of Rep member. And then on to Edo State, PDP candidate denies role in Shaibu's impeachment. And on politics, Edo Labour Party chairman says minimum wage payment political. And on APC, Ganduje tells NMPP there is no vacancy in presidency. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we'll delve right into the show.
Access to our money we put in the bank.
She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds to
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said they are.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on the show this morning is Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama, a management consultant and socio-political analyst. Good morning, Dr. Emmanuel.
Good morning, Larisha. Good morning, listeners.
And I also have with me Asim Adams Esquire. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner, civil rights crusader, and convener Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Asim Adams.
Good morning to you, Larisha. Good morning to you, Doctor. Nigerians, good morning also.
And on to the story. First, Rivers State. A People's Democratic Party member of House of Representatives in Rivers State, Awaji Inyomek Abiante, was on Monday suspended over alleged anti-party activities by his ward. The caretaker committee chairman of his Ward 1, Ungo Town, Andoni Mike DK Barra, and Secretary Mr. Dokubo Jackson on Monday in Port Harcourt confirmed the suspension of the House of Rep member in a statement on Monday. The statement reads that Honorable Awaji Inomek Abiante should be and is hereby suspended from the party for not only promoting factions at the ward level, but also belonging to a group under the guise of the party, not being a group provided for in the party's constitution, which action is in breach of Section 58, subsection 1J of the party's constitution. Furthermore, the suspension of Dagomie Abiante became indispensable, putting into consideration his involvement in organizing, training, and equipping group of members for the purposes of employing violence, coercion, and other forms of intermediation within the party, thereby breaching Section 58, subsection 1K of the party's constitution. We are committed to the party and determined to weed out bad eggs who are acting as agents of opposition to political parties, to weaken our party no matter how highly placed, and to ensure that our ward remains PDP irrespective of the inducement and threats. Barrister, let me start with you, Dr. Emmanuel. What is your take on the suspension of this House of Rep member?
Well, there is nothing much. We expect more of it around the 23 LGAs. It's most likely going to be suspensions and counter-suspensions, knowing fully well that we have two clear camps of the party in the state. I'm aware that the LJ chairman of Andon local government area is pro the Honorable Minister for FCT. And I'm also aware that several elders of that same LGA are pro the Governor Sim Fubara. So in that mix, whoever holds the party structure in the LGA will want to use it to force some persons into line, as it were. But how far that goes will again be subject of who is superior when it grows, because at the end of the day, whatever suspension is done at the ward or LGA or state will require an affirmation at the national level. So,
and you see
I think
of these suspensions
just beginning of this kind of things around the 23 local government areas, as long as this fight in the state in that party continues.
Okay, now you see a situation where the ward will suspend, but the national will not ratify.
May not ratify.
And if the national doesn't ratify,
of course, it's null and void, of no consequence.
Oh, interesting. Barrister Sims, how do you see this development? How do you see it affecting the political terrain in Rivers State?
Well, this is high-wired politics, if I may use that word, because when they talk about anti-party, I went through PDP constitution, and the issue of anti-party is very difficult to prove. You know, in this case, he belonged to a group, and whatever as the case may be, the guy can tell you that he's, you know, into a non-governmental organization, NGO, etc. as the case may be. He says he's trying to bring violence and all whatever as the case may be. You didn't report him to police, because if you're threatening violence, it's an offense. You know, when a man is threatening violence, there should be, you know, some things on ground to show that actually he was threatening violence. But these were not done. But be that as it may, it's pure politics. Now, if they are doing that, I know that there are political undertones, especially when the honorable involved, you know, is a supporter of the FCT minister, you know, Yeso Wike. And because of, you know, this feud they have between them and the governor, those supporters of the governor, you know, to give you what they call fair hearing over allegations, you know, that were made. If he even goes to court, I'm sure he's going to have something to rely on. You can't just suspend me without giving me, you know, a right to respond, you know, to allegations leveled against me. You know, that we run in grain to Section 35, so 5. You know, fair hearing is key in everything, both political party activities, etc. Because the courts has said that, yes, the courts, the parties have the right to do whatever they want to do within themselves. But the moment a case of, you know, that fair hearing is not present, particular group at all. So he has two options open to him. I believe that the national body, at the end of the day, will look at it, then do something. Otherwise, he can go to court and challenge the suspension.
Well, what do you think? What impact will this have in Rivers State politics?
It is not going to be something different. Already, the impact, the schism in the hierarchy of political powerhouses in Rivers State is very wide. So it is been lobotomized. That is, it has been bleeding. So I don't think this is even going to add anything to it. The only area I'm having problem in Nigeria politics of this nature is that you see that next week now, another word will get up and they are suspending one other person that is loyal to Yeso Wike. It goes on and on and on, and the whole state will be embroiled again in controversy. So, for me, these things lack strength. You know, we're in a democratic, you know, situation. This is People's Democratic Party. Do you suspend without even asking the guy to, you know, answer, you know, queries? That is where I am looking at, because the PDP constitution is very explicit on that. I don't know if they have done that.
All right.
Yes.
Candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State governorship elections slated for September 21, Dr. Aswe Odalu has refuted claims that he has a hand in the impeachment of the former Deputy Governor, Philip Shuaibu. Shuaibu was on April 8 impeached by the State House of Assembly over allegations of perjury and disclosure of government secrets. The impeached former governor had accused Ighodalo of sponsoring his impeachment at a meeting on Saturday at Obona, the homestead of the PDP Vice Chairman, South-South, Chief Dan Obi. Responding to the allegations, Ighodalo, who described the allegation as fake, added that the claims was cooked up to tarnish his reputation. The rebuttal was contained in a statement released by his media team on Monday and made available to journalists in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Asim Adams, let me start with you. When
state,
it comes to Edo State,
my state,
it's your state.
State of crisis.
And you have a lot to say because, I mean, Dan Obi, this political colossus,
yes.
They come from your local government.
Yes, of course, all of them.
I know you are hands-on on Edo politics. What do you make of this development?
Well, for me, my brother Shaibu is transferring aggression, and he's trying to play politics.
Okay.
Yes. As at the time, Aswa Igodalo, came into the fray, I don't think he was in government. Even up till now, he was not part of the Obaseki executive arm of government. He was just an aspirant. I wish I could forward it to you, yeah? Maybe after the program, I'll forward to you.
Okay.
That Aswa Igodalo was once, I think, chairman of Nigeria Breweries Limited. That is Nigeria Breweries. He took over from one old man who was retiring. And Igodalo was just there for 8 months before he now decided to contest for the governorship of Edo State. Before then, he was also an MD of a bank in Nigeria here. So the article surfaced, and it was titled, How Igodalo impoverished, Nigeria Breweries Limited. And if you go to that particular article, they serialized a lot of losses that the company registered during the period of 8 months. And they even said, trying to, make Nigerians who drink, very unhappy with him, that is the cause of the reason why their products, the prices, were upwardly reviewed. So that had a lot of sink in a lot of people. Those who drank products now say, oh, so this is the man that was responsible for a bottle that used to sell for 600, that is now 1,000. Then if he comes to Edo State, it means that he's going to kill us and the rest of it. So there are things like that. And this one now is adding to that fuel. And let me tell you, why Obaseki, Shaibu had to do this. Well, because Obona that he went to, he was playing politics. That is the homestead of Dan Obi. And that is our local government, Isako West. Then Obona is Isako East. So you find out that it's very close to Fuga. In the political headquarters of Isako East, Fuga is the headquarters. Obona is very close. And going there to now, rip up these sentiments again to his people, because we're already angry with Obaseki for what he did. So when our people hear this, that look, this man is responsible, or one of those responsible for my impeachment, we become very emotional. A lot of us are very emotional right now. Most of us never, supported Obaseki, Shaibu when he was against Somali. But today he has pleaded for forgiveness and asked us to forgive him for making that blunder. And we are forgiving him. Now, to rub salt upon injuries, we now feel that Obaseki slighted the Esako people, the Afemai people, by not planting or giving that slot of deputy governorship. Even though he wants to remove our son, he should give it back to our son. But he did not do that. He obviated the whole of the Afemai kingdom and land, Esako especially, obviated it, and now went to another area to go and give them the deputy governorship, candidacy, which is Akoko Edo. So the Afemai man, the Esako man, of which I'm a member, I belong, we are so vexed in our spirit and emotions that we're already, rubbing our hands and say, okay, we are waiting for September 21st. So any string that will come to add to these sentiments and emotion that will go against Igodalo, I believe that our people will do it. So this is the reason why he said that even though in my own assessment, I don't think he has the proof. But sentimentally, that is a political will say that we sail, for him. We'll add it to the wrong things we feel that he has done. He does not have proof of that. But even me sitting down here, I'll go and peruse and say, it might be true, but maybe this man was really behind it. Maybe he's sponsored by paying monies to lawyers representing parties and the rest of it. So we are selling it to our people, and they're saying it like, okay, one of the things again. So let us try to come to our local government. Close man till tomorrow. Wiki. So as at that time, Dan Obi was vexed with Shaibu and say, how can you insult my friend in that manner? I brought you up, I put you to PDP and ETC, and you have the effort to insult, a yes, okay. And they said, no. that there was a rip between the two of them. At the end of the day, this has gone now to now show that they have settled their differences, because he was not going to his house again. They were not meeting. In fact, when Dano becomes as the South vice chairman of
way of dragging me in, whether he actually was involved or not, he will know, because he's going to be the beneficiary after all. So if there's anybody to detain now at least in the short run, it won't be Obaseki. It is Gadolo, because he's going to be the one that should benefit.
Obaseki has served that.
The attacks will not be on Obaseki now, for now.
It's true.
The real attacks to Obaseki will come if APC wins. If APC wins, then they will dust their books to begin to look at perhaps financial impropriety or otherwise of Obaseki. But for now, nobody will be talking about Obaseki. Obaseki is not contesting the election. So Ighodalo had failed to do the needful at that time.
But if Ighodalo had tried to be neutral, you know, don't you think Obaseki would have fallen out of favor with Obaseki, because Obaseki would be like, okay, this man might...
It will have been a simple strategy for both parties to know. Okay, for my sake, this is what I'm going to do.
See,
it's a simple thing. I just give an example.
It appears they rift, you know, the issue between Obaseki and Shuaibu appears to be more than political at this. And how do you think Obaseki
I've not said anything. I will tell him that's what I'm going to do on press. What I do behind is nobody's business, for crying out loud. But then he will have been able to draw up such things now to show that, look, my position for that, on that subject was clear. I had encouraged the governor then to reconcile. I had encouraged Shuaibu to calm down. We're all brothers. And that's actually real leadership show, if you like, put him into tighter corners. So anybody around him needs to advise him to be careful. Because he may have been clean, I don't know how many politicians are really clean up till now, but if he's not very careful within these small last minutes, he may burn his hands in ways and manners that will be too open for cover up.
But now, talking about burning his hands, you also mentioned at the beginning of your statement that there is every possibility that APC will take the day. And if they do, then Obaseki should be getting ready to, probably he might have to answer to a lot of things. The question is, why would APC want to do that? Because of, is it a case of witch hunting or a case
health and health infrastructure, for instance? Now, these are things that the people will ask. And if that is what an APC coming into government will be asking, then I doubt if it will be seen as witch hunt.
All right.
But if that is shown, and APC is still going ahead, then we could begin to tinker with looking at it from the perspective of political witch hunt, or whichever witch hunt. But again, like I tell people, for there to be hunting, and for it to be a witch hunt, it then means there's actually a witch to be hunted.
All right. Edo State Chairman of the Labour Party, Kelly Obaloi, has said that the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira announced by Governor Godwin Obaseki during the commissioning of the Labour House was political. He told press on phone late Monday that the governor was not sincere with the award, alleging that he was using it to lure workers, and there is no assurance that the next government will continue the scheme. Now, you talked about desperate moves, Dr. Emmanuel, in your last analysis. Could this be part of the desperate move by Governor Obaseki?
Honestly, in my opinion, yes.
And you think this is political?
Where was Obaseki in the past 7 years plus? Is it now he's realizing that the 30,000 minimum wage of 40, he raised it once to 40, was not sufficient? Why are Nigerian politicians always behaving this way? 3 months to when they will leave office, they will increase wages, they will employ people that they did not in any way think of hitherto. Is it a banana peel for the next government? Is it that Obaseki is out to win the September October elections. And so he's dropping these pills for whoever takes over to sleep. These are the kind of moves I said are desperate. And see, we must be able to think through decisions like this. Is he expecting additional income for the state from somewhere? To what extent has he improved internal generated revenue in Edo State that will cater for this? Or was he actually cheating workers in the past 7 years? Underpaying them intentionally to punish them when there was enough fund and only bringing it out while he knows he had just 3 months or thereabout to go? This is wickedness. That's my take. A serious wickedness. And like I said, there will likely be more falls in desperation like this.
And you think this will not, to any extent, elicit some level of excitement, applause by the civil servants in Edo State?
I will tell you one thing.
There are people that will rejoice over it.
Of course,
and it will affect.
I agree with you, but I agree with you. I will tell you one thing. It's like politicians telling us that they're giving us dividend of democracy. Anybody, any voter who is moved by dividend of democracy simply means that he does not know what is his. You have my cloth, and you've removed the button from my cloth for me. And you're telling me you gave me a button. Is it cloth your own?
Interesting.
Is it cloth your own? And that's what has made these politicians use the word I. Every other discussion they make as if it's their personal things they're giving to us. It's not theirs, it's ours. So the average Edo civil servant understands that this money is his. By the way, what is the ratio of Edo civil servants to the general Edo workers and or the rest Edo people? What's the ratio?
To sway elections.
To do any serious thing.
Oh, interesting.
So he needs to understand all of this. Yes, an average man who gets an additional income will be happy. There's no truth about it. But to the extent he will not understand that this is his money and entitlement, that's why I've asked the question. Has Obaseki generated extra revenue
to implement
this? Or is this where ordinarily they have been in the past 7 years that he had denied them to enjoy? These are things they should play. If this money is what they would have enjoyed in 7 years, he kept, and it's coming now that he had just about 4 or thereabout months to go, to bring out, then he's wicked. And the ordinary those civil servants will see him from that perspective.
All right. See, madams.
Yes.
You are an Edo man. How do Edo people, is this a welcome development in Edo State? What are the feelers you're getting from your brothers in Edo State?
For me, I believe that it's only a fool that will take the promises of politicians to the bank and keep. I know that some people who are very gullible will begin to listen to Obaseki and say, oh, he has increased, salaries or whatever they call it from 40,000 to 70,000. That is almost 100% increase. I don't know of any state that pay as high as Edo State, as Obaseki has proposed. And he said, beginning from May 1st, which means he may go round and plunder the treasury to pay them, and also plunder the understand what it is to govern. Now, Obaseki is trying to play this politics. He was in Auchi, my hometown, the other time. He wanted to see the Otaru of Auchi, that is the revered king in Edo North. During the fasting period, he came and said he was to break fast with the Otaru of Auchi. Otaru, told him very point blank that what you did to our son, we are not happy with it. all the periods you've been in government for 8 years or going to 8 years, you never came to my palace to, break fast with me. You know I'm a Muslim. Why are you coming? Is it because of politics? People were laughing. But Otaru meant what he was saying, that you can't deceive us. We know exactly what is there. He spent about 20 minutes and he left. Then recently, he named the labor house as Adams Oshomole Labor House. A house that you put under lock and keys because the problem you had with Oshomole. Even when the Labour Party in Benin, Edo State chapter, said this particular house was built by the Oshomole administration for labor in Edo State, you told them that you are going to even convert that house to a government ministry because you had a war with Oshomole. Now, this man from Edo and a very sagacious politician, then you are now saying you want to do this. Of course, Oshomole looked at him. I think the reaction of Oshomole yesterday showed that, said, look, he's doing this because of politics, so don't believe him more. If he wins election now and maybe he get the judge mainly reside. There's a port that is a deep water port as big as the Warri Port. And he promised that he was going to, make that place a port that is viable. He has not done that. Because of bad politics also, the major road leading to Edo North, from Benin City down to Ekpoma, down to where Esako or Edo North has boundary with Edo Central, he neglected that part because he had that mortal hatred, for the Edo North people and even the Edo Central people, as the case may be, and concentrated. Those is audio development in Edo South, which is the Benin area where he comes from. The fourth one, I know I'm waiting to see whether he will go back to the Obo of Benin and go and say they should not return them to the palace. Whereas those artifacts and ornaments were captured away from the Benin palace deep. He came back again to say that he wants to divide, and balkanize the Benin kingdom to whittle down the powers of the Obo of Benin. And in my place, to say that is an agua means that a forbidden thing, to the extent that when he made such statements, traditional women all over Edo State said they are going to go round the government house naked if he tries that. That was why he had to, withdraw that particular statement. So I'm watching to see how he's going to go to Obo Benin. If he does not pacify the Obo Benin, forget it. Baseke has a history, the family has a history of betrayals, etc. Because it was their own great-grandfather who were Oba. But somebody somewhere said, when they were invading, he changed to an animal. They said, this is the man. This is the man that is an Oba. That strike him, you see, he's going to turn to human being. And they did say, he appeared, they now captured him and took him to Calabar. Why did they take him to Calabar was because they could not even kill him. They fired gunshots, they threw him inside, they tried to sink him inside the water, the Atlantic waters. He floated. And when they found out they could not do anything, they wanted to put him in the boat and take to UK. The boat had turbulence in the sea. So they had to return him back and say, they dumped this man, said this man is evil. They now dumped him in that island in Calabar, where he later died. We know those who betrayed the man, and the Benin history is very deep. We respect the Oba. So I don't know how he's going to do that. So these are things he's fighting against. But if you look at what has happened now, he knows he cannot do this in Edo South, where he comes from. But he's not taking that fight to Edo North, where we come from, to pacify us. Because labor in Nigeria, the founder of labor movement in Nigeria is Pa Michael Imodu late. Why did he not name that particular house as Michael Imodu House in Edo State? But he gave it to Oshomole to pacify Oshomole, to see what Oshomole will, do what now, give him it, and that is not going to be possible. Then he's coming to the Oba of Otaru Hauchi,
He's going to Igara. He now brought this man from Akoko Edo. Omabayo has deputy governor from Akoko Edo. So he wants to see if he can, capture Edo now, but it's going to be difficult for him. Obaseki and his Labour Party, his PDP, whatever his case may be, has a Herculean task. Except if he rig the election. Because Labour Party candidate, they're very okay. And I believe what they have said that it's all politics.
You agree that it's all politics? It's
politics that he's playing. And it will not work for him.
And so the civil servants in those states will not be swayed in any way? The
civil servants in those states will be looking at him with one eye open while they turn the other way and be looking whether it's Obaseki that did that. Because where he captured them, where we are watching him now. So he's going to pay this money from 1st of May to whatever.
5 months. 5
months or whatever the case may be. Edo does not have such money. In fact, Edo has such money to pay. But because of embezzlement and whatever, they will not use the money. So I'm going to see how he's going to turn out this start borrowing. Edo is the 4th most indebted state in Nigeria. You understand? The IGR of Edo State is never up to Rivers has 27 billion. Edo State IGR is about 10 billion monthly. And the overhead, the salary overhead at 40. When he was complaining and taking loans to pay salaries, he couldn't meet up. He has now jacked up to 70,000. So if you were taking loans to pay 40,000,
then now are you going to?
You are going to sell a donor to pay the 70,000. That's what I'm telling the Obaseki. So these are the things. You should not deceive. Don't believe them. Don't believe him. My people don't believe Obaseki.
Oh, interesting. Dr. Emmanuel, it appears your analysis was also on point.
Yeah, because I needed to know what additional income has been generated.
Absolutely.
Because for any business decision, there has to be something coming in.
Of course.
If nothing is coming in and you're doing that, then it's, for me, a banana peel for the next government.
Absolutely.
Interesting times ahead in Edo State. Well, we'll keep you updated as the news develop. Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel, for coming on Open Conversation this morning. It's